Dear students, I am Dr. Daud, and from today onwards we will discuss the diseases of oral cavity. Today we will discuss a very important disease, oral submucous fibrosis. We will start with the introduction, then the definition, then epidemiology, then the classification, then etiopathogenesis, then the clinical features, then the histopathology, differential diagnosis, malignant potential of this disease, then investigations, and in the end we will discuss the treatment and management. Oral mucous membrane is a unique area of the body which is continuously exposed to various kinds of stresses such as heat, cold, microorganisms, chemicals, and mechanical irritations. In response to these stresses, both epithelium and connective tissue layers of the oral mucosa exhibit acute and chronic reactive changes. One such reaction of the collagen of oral mucosa to areca nut is oral submucous fibrosis. It is a chronic disease of insidious onset and a prevailing potentially malignant disorder characterized by juxtaepithelial inflammatory reaction along with mucosal fibrosis. It is actually characterized by deposition of dense collagen in the connective tissue. Most widely accepted definition of oral submucous fibrosis is that it is insidious chronic disease affecting any part of the oral cavity and sometimes the pharynx. Usually the soft palate and the fascial pillars are involved more, and it is always associated with juxtaepithelial inflammatory reaction followed by fibroelastic change of the lamina propria with epithelial atrophy leading to stiffness of the oral mucosa and causing trismus and inability to eat. Trismus means that patient not able to open the mouth. It is inability, the mouth opening is called trismus. Oral submucous fibrosis is first described in early 1950s and is a potentially malignant disease predominantly seen in the people of Asian descent. So the disease is predominantly seen in India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Taiwan and southern China. How will you classify this disease? It can be classified by the clinical staging and the functional staging. Stage 1 if oral cavity only contains fascial bands. Stage 2 if it contains the fascial and the buccal bands. Stage 3 if it contains the fascial, buccal and the labial bands. As far as functional staging is concerned, we stage it according to the mouth opening. If the patient is able to open the mouth more than 2 cm or more than 20 mm, we call it stage 1. If the patient is able to open the mouth between 11 to 19 mm, we call it stage 2. And if the patient cannot open the mouth more than 10 mm, we call it stage 3. What is etiopathogenesis of this disease? The cause is multifactorial. Local factors include chilies and areca nut. Systemic factors include nutritional deficiency, genetic predisposition and autoimmunity. Usually the chewing the areca nut is the major etiological factor. Capsaicin is an active principle present in the chilies. It is mild irritant and it brings to the epithelial and connective tissue changes in the oral submucous fibrosis patient. What are these changes? These are elastic degradation of the collagen and ultrastructurally partial or complete degeneration of collagen into elastin-like filaments, sheets or dense amorphous material. Oral submucous fibrosis patients cannot tolerate spicy food, and the opening of the mouth is also restricted, so it may affect the normal food intake and lead to nutritional deficiencies. Areca nut is the main cause. Areca nut contains arecoline, which lead to fibrosis and further causes the rigidity and limited mouth opening. What arecoline do is, it is converted into arecidine by hydrolysis, which increases the fibroblast stimulation and proliferation and then ultimately increase the collagen synthesis. Large quantity of tannin are also present in the areca nut, and what tannin do is it inhibits the collagenases, so it reduces the collagen degradation. So arecoline and tannin, they ultimately cause decreased degradation of collagen and increased production of collagen. Areca nut also contains the copper, and the copper also stimulates the fibroblast and proliferation, and it also further increases the collagen synthesis. So how the patient of oral submucous fibrosis will present to you? Early oral submucous fibrosis patient can come to you with burning sensation, that is inability to tolerate the spicy food or ulceration, excessive salivation, defective gustatory sensation, dryness of mouth. While in advanced stage the patient can come to you with blanched, slightly opaque lesions in the oral cavity, inability to open mouth, that is called trismus, white fibrous bands can be present in the oral cavity in the submucosa, then fixation, shortening or deviation of the uvula, impairment of the tongue movement and inability to blow or whistle, and then difficulty in swallowing, and then nasal voice. You can see in this picture blanching can be seen over the left buccal mucosa. Here the blanching can be seen in the ventral surface of the tongue, floor of mouth and restricted movements of the tongue. So the fibrous bands which are present in the floor of mouth in this disease, they cause the tongue movements to restrict, so the patient will not be able to protrude the tongue, or the patient will not be able to move the tongue freely. Here you can see the decreased mouth opening. We made it with the help of a scale, and then the facial pillars and the soft pallets showing redness and whitish bands. Here the soft palate showing the blanching, and uvula is also shrunken here. Here there are white patches or bands that are present in the buccal mucosa. This is the histopathological diagram of oral submucous fibrosis, showing thin atrophic epithelium with chronic inflammation and dense fibrosis in the submucosa. What are the differential diagnoses? Differential diagnoses of this disease includes scleroderma, fibroma, generalized fibromatosis, anemia and amyloidosis. Malignant transformation rate of oral submucous fibrosis is found to be 7 to 13%. Investigations, special investigations are usually not needed in this disease, and hematological investigation include the blood chemistry and the hematological variations like iron, vitamin B12 and folate levels, and the ESR, anemia, eosinophilia and the gamma globulin. What is the treatment? The first and foremost step in the treatment is restriction of habits, that is reduction or elimination of habit of areca nut chewing. Then corticosteroids. Steroids suppress the inflammatory response by their anti-inflammatory action. It prevents the fibrosis by decreasing fibroblastic proliferation and deposition of collagen, and local injection, intralesional injection of the steroid along with other materials like hyaluronidase. So hyaluronic acid is also effective in decreasing the fibrosis. It is used in dosage of 1500 international unit in 4 mg of dexamethasone and dissolved in 2% lignocaine, and it is injected intralesionally in the oral cavity after 3 to 4 weeks interval. Then placental extract are also used. The combination of dexamethasone, hyaluronidase and placental extract are found to be more effective than using a single drug. Then nutritional support should be given to the patient with high protein, calories, vitamin B complex and other vitamins and minerals. Physiotherapy is also helpful in forcefully opening the mouth, and heat therapy, and surgical treatment if the medical treatment, if there is no improvement after the medical treatment, cutting the fibrotic band and then covering the defect by split thickness skin graft or the facial human amnion or buccal fat pad grafts or the nasolabial flaps, so to cover the defect. So this is all about oral submucous fibrosis. In the end, recently stem cell therapy has shown that it is a safe and effective treatment modality in the oral submucous fibrosis. It is not widely used still in the initial phases. In this autologous bone marrow stem cell injections, it induces the angiogenesis in the area of the lesion, which in turn decreases the extent of the fibrosis thereby leading to significant increase in the mouth opening. Thank you. If you have got any questions, you can ask on the WhatsApp group.